I'll say that. No, then you don't need, no, don't call the meeting yet.
Oh, just don't even call, just did swearing.
To change it from normal use to conditional use. That just means it has to go through an extra step. It's not that odd.
Get my mom and police stuff.
Yeah.
Mine at home.
It's just a first reading. A lot of people don't understand.
You ready? Mm-hmm. I think it's about that time. No, not quite. It's yeah, Judge Heather's in the back in the blue shirt over there.
Oh. I did, so still, I didn't see him as being on the bottom. Where's the mic?
So good evening, everyone. We have a special order of business before the council meeting tonight. So if we could have Judge Hazard come forward and, or Mayor-elect come forward, or not Mayor-elect, but Chelsea come forward. Just do it out there. Yep.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the constitutions of the United States and the state of Ohio,
That I will support the constitutions of the United States and the state of Ohio,
the laws of the state of Ohio, and the laws of the charter of the city of Maumee,
the laws of the state of Ohio, and the laws of the charter of the city of Maumee,
and will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties of my office as mayor of Maumee
discharge the duties of my office as mayor of Maumee
during my continuance in office according to law and to the best of my ability.
during my continuance in office according to law and to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Hello, Judge.
All right, we're gonna call the meeting to order. It is 6:17. This is the city council meeting on December 1st.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Leinbach,
Yes.
Puffenberger.
Yes.
Let's stand for the pledge. Okay, next we have Committee of the Whole, which is normally presided over by the President of Council. Currently, we don't have a President of Council, which goes to the person with the next seniority, so I will hand that over to Councilman Barrow.
There you go. Thank you, Mayor Ziss. A few things on the agenda. I would like to make some recommendations. This is an outgoing council, and in 4 weeks, we're going to have a new council, and there's some major topics here that brought up the light, and I'd like to make a couple of suggestions, if I may. Under the committee of the whole discussion of the proposed changes, 1, 2, 3, 4 different categories, actually 5 different categories, to do with contracts, administrators' duties, confirmation, confirming charters definitions. I would like that to table that until the January 5th meeting with our new council. That's one of the points that I would like to.
So I feel the same way as I did at our meeting last week, at the special meeting, that I think it's very valid information that's happening now and should not be pushed to January.
Mr. Harris?
I agree. These things should wait until the new council is in place.
Mr. Leinbach?
I think that some could be pushed to the new council, but some require some discussion tonight. And perhaps we could go one by one, and I don't know if we maybe make your motions, one by one of those items, and we could do that.
Councilman Kurt?
Can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually agree with Councilman Lineback. Yeah. We'll do one by one, and if it appears that something that can wait, it probably ought to wait. But some of these things, choosing a new replacement and so forth, I think that's probably what you're talking about, Phil, is if we feel it's important to discuss and take action on now, we will, or we'll file a motion.
And Councilman Fiskus? Thank you.
I am for having a discussion.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead with that. Secondly, items C and D has to do with things that have gone to the zoning, 2 topics went to the zoning commission, and I would like to see those referred also to the new council in 2026. And here there's a scheduled tour, if you will, to a facility out of town that was being arranged on December 19th. And I just think we could have a much more thorough discussion and understanding if we had a meeting concerning those 2 recommendations after that trip had taken place. Ms. Buffenberger?
Yes, so I'll repeat what I said at the Planning Commission. So this is the first reading, so the third reading won't be done until after that scheduled trip that we found out about at Planning, December 17th. And a new council won't really decide on what Planning Commission deems like a good step. I mean, new council will vote to agree with Planning Commission or not, so I guess I don't really see how that makes any sense. On top of that, there was a lot of discussion about how we should take the time to do our research, do our due diligence, and look into this topic more. But every time someone said that, at the same time they said that we shouldn't do a moratorium and that we shouldn't do this, not
Conditional use.
conditional use. I'm like, starts with a C, restricted conditional use. But all the conditional use does is give us more time. We shouldn't do a moratorium. All moratorium does is give us more time. You can set a moratorium for 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, 6 months. We've done it in the past with smoke shops, vape shops, dollar stores. You set a time frame, you do your due diligence, you get the code adjusted accordingly, and then, it's not saying data centers aren't allowed. So I don't agree with that.
Okay, Councilman Harris?
Yeah, I also feel that it should stay on the agenda. It's just a first reading. First readings are only introductions. The new council will be able to weigh in on the final decision. So,
Thank you. Any other comment? Councilman Leinbach?
Yeah, I concur with Councilwoman Buffenberger. I was at the same Municipal Planning Commission meeting, and the idea was that the door was completely open as a permitted use, and people wanted to have time to do research. Yeah, it makes more sense to do research with the door closed a little bit, and that's what these ordinances are doing. I think it's reasonable to keep the clock running on those as a first reading.
Okay, anything else on that?
I just did have one item on that. I noticed that the wording changed for 9C. One said, as a permitted use, it was listed as a data processing center, and then the new language that I saw was just a data center. And I was wondering if there's a distinction there? Because we know there's distinctions between typical data centers that just do web hosting and stuff like that and email, and AI centers. AI data centers. So I'm just not sure with the words, or if it really matters. Because it was one thing up above, it was not the same words inserted down under conditional.
Alan?
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. You know, it's probably a broader category, just so everybody knows that could be any type of data center.
Okay, anything else on the agenda?
Yes, I have a couple of questions, and I apologize. With the holidays, I did not get to look into these prior to today, but, so the ordinance 39-2025, this is the ordinance for Environmental Tree Advisory Commission. It's essentially the ordinance that created that committee. So the commission, a couple commission members and I have been taking Tree Academy course with ODNR, and they've been advising us of what a lot of other municipalities usually do and have in their tree commission ordinances and in their tree ordinances. So this was the first thing on our list to go over, is to update this to ensure that we have all the items that we feel is needed in that, and that ODNR recommends is in your ordinances to make sure you can do all the things necessary. So we went back and forth with Alan and and our ODNR rep made some changes and gave it to him to look over before our last Environmental Tree Advisory Commission meeting. So the members that were at that meeting voted to recommend this to council. And I just noticed that between that meeting and now that there were some changes to what we had voted on. So I just wanted to take a minute and kind of go over that. You can always see a lot more, you know, once you read and reread. So we actually noticed something on our own that we thought might be something that should be revised. So in 184.04, responsibilities and duties as to Environmental and Tree Advisory Commission. In that first line, it says the Environmental and Tree Advisory Commission shall have the following advisory responsibilities if requested by a super is crossed out, so that's an edit. If requested by a majority of the city council or the city administrator. So essentially what that is saying to me is that we aren't allowed to do any of these responsibilities and duties in A, B, C, D, all the way through S, unless it is requested by the majority of city council or city administrator. I guess I don't really understand that. That doesn't seem to be how I always thought committees were to kind of, I guess, act. I thought committees would have a discussion on something, make a recommendation, and then send to council. I didn't think that we had to be asked to have a discussion about something. And then those were the only times that we could bring something to council. And I'll just go through these and then we can go back. So in letter M, so there was and shrubs added to a lot of areas where it says trees. And in all of the points in which that was added, I felt like they made sense except for an M, to develop, implement, and update an urban forestry management plan for Maumee's public trees and shrubs, Maumee street tree design, planting design, or Maumee street tree planting design shall be incorporated into the urban forestry management plan. And the reason why I crossed out shrubs is when we did the street tree planting design plan, we don't do anything with shrubs. It's all recommendations on trees. So I don't think that makes sense there. In letter R, the last sentence, it notes such plans or updates shall not become effective until approved by the commission and city council. So it starts out with to conduct tree surveys and prepare and to keep updated a street tree planting design for all public streets, avenues, highways, parks, alleys, and other public places, which in its opinion effectuate the provisions of this chapter. Such plans or updates shall not become effective until approved by the commission of the city council. So that's kind of confusing to me because we had our tree specialist do a presentation of the street tree design plan. He presented to council. We've never adopted that. So this addition, I mean, in my opinion, makes it seem like essentially the street tree design plan is not a thing until city council then has to approve it. So I guess my question is whether that's the case or not. And then, let's see, I think that's it. You want to go back over? I thought it was easier just to kind of say all at once.
Well, excuse me, the committees give recommendations to council, that we recommend this, we recommend what it is they might be recommending to add or subtract, and then it goes to council for a vote.
Right, but this says that we're only allowed to do our advisory responsibilities if requested by majority of the city council or city administrator. So for example, all these items listed A through S, we're only allowed to do if city council says, hey, will you please do this? Or the city administrator says, hey, would you please do that? So that's the way
That's the new language?
This is the item that I said, that's why it's good to have read over and read over. This seems to be that it was an existing. The only edit to that line was that supermajority was removed. Before it said the supermajority of council had to allow us to do our duties, but that's been removed. So I guess my recommendation would be the Environmental and Tree Advisory Commission shall have the following advisory responsibilities, and then A through S. Not that if requested by majority of the city council or city administrator.
Okay, I understand that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, part of that is, it's been in the code before, and under the council rules, meetings for committees is really supposed to be matters referred to that committee or by a vote of the majority of council members. So that's why that language apparently was in there before, because that's been in the council rules.
Wait, so
Items that any committee is supposed to discuss is supposed to be requested on the call of the chairman, or on request of two members communicated to the municipal clerk on matters referred to that committee.
But this committee meets consistently. We actually meet every month. So we don't have people constantly saying, hey, here, put this on the agenda. These are our list of responsibilities that we need to constantly be working on. Like, for example, in our classes that we're taking now, and in our last meeting, we looked at our strategic plan, our schedule for an entire year, because there are a lot of different items when it comes to taking care of your urban tree canopy that needs to happen during certain times of the year consistently every year, to make sure you're keeping up on your tree canopy and you're making sure everything's kind of in place, because our street trees are a liability of the cities. So if someone isn't constantly going around and looking at those trees and making sure there's not a tree with an issue that hasn't been taken care of and something happens, that's the city's liability. So there's a lot of items that the tree commission is supposed to constantly be doing. So it doesn't make sense, and these are listed in these items, so it doesn't make sense that council would then have to tell us, hey, do these things that are listed in your responsibilities so you can have a meeting, because we have a meeting every month. I mean, otherwise we would just have a meeting and have nothing to discuss.
Well, in the past, I'm sorry, Helen, go ahead.
I would say in the past, the administrator had you do those things. So in the absence of an administrator, you would just need to request that council have you do all those things and make a motion and.
So every month we have to request council if we can do our
No.
responsibilities?
No, you can make it for whatever time period you want to make the motion for.
For the entirety of this committee exists, can I make that motion?
Until we have an administrator.
So
would
removing
make
that
more sense.
line would say essentially do that, I feel like is what I'm trying to say.
I think until we have an administrator would make more sense.
Council President?
Sorry, go ahead.
I think there's a key distinction between committees and commissions. This is the Environmental and Tree Advisory Commission. And committees, I get it, we have to refer something to personnel or refer something to finance, but a commission, I thought by its nature is advisory. It seems like they should be able to meet, make recommendations. I mean, they can't implement anything. Any plans, like Councilwoman Puffenberger was reading, have to be approved by council. So, I mean, is the rule that you were just stating about committees, things have to be referred to committees, does that really apply to commissions? I wouldn't think so. I would think we'd want to have our citizen commissions have the freedom, to meet maybe as much as they want.
Well, we actually have a requirement for Tree City USA. We have to meet a minimum of 6 months, 6 meetings. And they've found that with all the duties you have, you should not be meeting any less than 8 times a year.
So this is a first reading, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion to strike that part of that sentence from this first reading?
Yes, I would love to. I would like to make a motion to remove, if requested by a majority of the city council or the city administrator, prior to the listing of the responsibilities and duties in 184.04.
And I will second that.
Call the roll.
Barrow,
Before that, I want to have a little more discussion,
Oh, okay.
please. Thank you. So to clarify your motion, you simply want to be able to do what you want to do within your commission, within your meetings.
Not
Correct.
do what we
Well,
want to do.
Let me finish.
Okay, what we
Sorry.
need to do.
What you need to do,
Thank you.
then it goes before council for approval.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
That's it.
Any other discussion on that motion? Call the roll.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
Weinbach?
Yes.
Puffenberger?
Yes. Can I also make another change of recommendation?
Well, I wanted Matt to weigh in on the shrub issue. I mean, obviously, in some of the landscaping, we do have other planting, shrubs, et cetera. You want recommendations from the commissioner, not on those items, so.
Well, so shrubs in the other areas, I think makes sense. And then Matt, you can answer. But in this particular item, in regards to the Maumee street tree planting design, the street tree planting design does not cover shrubs. We've not been advised by ODNR to include shrubs within that planting design plan. It's only trees. That's why I wanted this one from M removed.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it's going to be up to the service department to how we maintain the shrubs around town. I don't know that that really applies to this. Is that what you were getting at?
Well, so for this one in particular, so shrubs are mentioned throughout, like sample kind of copy for tree commission ordinances. And it makes sense sometimes, like in the public areas, like for example, some of the shrubs over by like the bike path off the trail. So shrubs do need to be included sometimes, but for this particular item, it's directly related to the street tree planting design that we use the urban site index and went around town and, you know, scored the areas between the sidewalk and the road to decide what kind of trees those areas would support the best and not have those trees die. But we don't put shrubs in that area between the sidewalk and the road. So I guess that is, and the ODNR's street tree design plan with the urban site index does not advise concerning shrubs. So I feel like it's just not applicable here.
So Matt, you're not worried about the shrubs in that, or?
I'm not.
Okay.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to remove and shrubs from letter M in 184.04.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
In L,
Yes.
it's also there, and that's speaking specifically about tree lawns.
Did I miss one? Okay. Varieties. Well, it also includes
other-
public properties though, so that's why I didn't remove that one. And then it talks about all street tree species have been specified within the Maumee street tree planting design. So that one makes sense for me, but thank you.
Get a second on that motion so we can discuss it more?
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion on that motion?
I guess what would be the issue with having the word shrubs in there? How would that really affect you?
Well, we don't make any recommendations for, within the street tree planting design plan for shrubs, which is included in the urban forestry management plan for Maumee's public trees or Maumee trees. Well, maybe that's not reading right. Plan for Maumee's public trees, Maumee street. Yeah, that doesn't read right anymore. Oh, it's a period. I mean, I don't think it makes sense, but.
It's something that's outside of the commission's purview
Well,
for
it's.
this specific design plan.
So I've not done the urban forestry management plan yet. I know the street tree planting design is a part of that. So I I mean, I could understand that maybe shrub stays until we learn a little bit more about the urban forestry management plan and see whether it makes sense anywhere else. If there's any other items that kind of include shrubs, it might just be an item we haven't done yet. So I will strike your motion. Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Any other topics on the agenda before we get into the proposed changes?
So there was one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
So sorry. So letter R. So I want clarification on why it says such plans or updates shall not become effective until approved by the, well, not why it says, whether our street tree design master plan is effective or not, because we never had council approve that. We had a presentation to council. Bill came and presented our street tree design plan, but it never got put on the agenda to approve or not. So by adding this is an addition. So by adding this, essentially says that, anything that is created like this will need to be approved. But then in addition to that, I wonder, so when we turn the street tree design plan, if we turn it into an Excel sheet with the listing, is that going to need approved? When we create our schedule for per ODNR's recommendations for the year for the commission, is that going to need approved? I guess I need a little bit more kind of information on what is all going to need approved.
Alan, can you answer to that?
Well, it would just be to make those things official for the city. I mean, the commission itself can't approve it and make it an official policy of the city, so.
No, and I appreciate that, and I like, with talking to staff, it gives a better ability to be able to research back when things were passed and, look it up. So I guess if that's the case, fine. If we need to do that, that makes sense. But I guess I would like to know what the action is for. We need to have the street tree design master plan now submitted to council to approve. Because it's been done for over a year now, year and a half.
I think that makes sense. Have your team, submit it.
Recommend it for approval.
For approval. Just like we have the master plan that's going to be on here. That's going to compel a certain type of action on the part of the city. If that is going to do the same thing, then council should vote on it, I would think.
And I might recommend or suggest that when that does come, for council's review or to approve or not, we have our ODNR rep come in and explain the process to educate council about kind of what we did a year and a half ago, since it's been a little bit now.
And it would be a first reading, I would think, and that would allow for citizen input as well. We've had citizens, have some comments and done some of their own research on trees, so we could get input on that for making a decision.
Okay.
I'm done. Thank you very much.
I'll give you a minute. No. Thank you very much. Good discussion. I think we're now ready to look at the proposed changes that we have on our agenda. Mr. Leinbach?
Yes, since I proposed a bunch of them. I mean, without getting into deep discussion, the first one just had to do with strengthening the financial controls. Finance Committee has been dealing with a lot of that recently, and I think there's just more. I'm content to have the future council deal with that
I agree.
in their Finance Committee meeting.
I agree.
Okay, proposed changes to 12301, Administrator.
There's some language in the duties that I think is a little bit in conflict with the charter, but also had to do with some duties that the administrator had for various personnel actions that I thought warranted discussion. And for that as well, I think I'm certainly content to have the next year's Personnel Committee start that discussion.
Sure.
So my only question with that would be, considering the city administrator position has been advertised now, I guess I don't want there to be any miscommunication with the people that are applying, the applicants, concerning what their duties are or not. So if they got on our code and looked this up, they would see, because we had noted before B and E to look into. Is that something that should start to be discussed now? Because we're in the process of hiring a city administrator? I mean, I feel like it should be to provide clarity to the candidates.
I think that, I think it can wait a 2 or 3 weeks until we hear in the January meeting with the personnel. Anybody, we just began the process where applications are starting, I think, to come in is what I heard. And there'll still be quite a while before we see those, before we even see those applications. I'm comfortable with referring it to personnel. Go ahead.
Oh, I still am comfortable referring to it, but I think a clarification of those two particular items, 123.01B and E, they do relate to personnel activity, HR type of stuff. And if someone in staff can, or if it's WorkSpring, look at those two particular items to see if they're not in conflict with the posted job description.
I see what you're sure.
Then I think we're okay.
We can do that.
Yeah, because the ordinance and the description don't exactly match up as
understand.
well, and the ordinance is, probably supersedes the description. So getting those two lined up, I think would be a good idea.
Well, in addition, I mean, letter E seems to be an HR duty. I mean, to investigate, examine, or inquire into the affairs or operations of any department, division, office, or employee, or appoint or designate any person or officer to perform said investigation. That seems HR to me, but I'm not an HR expert, so.
Is that 123.01 as well?
123.01, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Letter E.
That also, they could clarify that, which makes sense. It's an HR duty.
And it's a little doubtful that we'll have an administrator in place prior to maybe that personnel committee meeting.
That's right.
Right off the bat. Maybe that's got to get tackled next year.
And what else did you have?
The third item, the proposed selection process for city administrator, I had provided, an example. Now, I know there's an administrative process. I had seen a document from 2024, something like that. And my concern there is that while there was a lot of overlap, a lot of attributes in that existing administrative ordinance and what I was thinking about and put in writing, what the current one seems to be lacking is a call for early and continuous involvement by council and citizen representatives, throughout the process, something much more structured that we can say, boom, here it is. Here's document XYZ. This describes our process. There's a lot of factors that go into it. That one, I'm not prepared to discuss tonight. That's a little involved, but I think perhaps a more appropriate avenue to proceed on that is that since we're in the middle, or we're in process of recruiting and selecting, is that if perhaps the mayor and the representative from WorkSpring that we've contracted with, if they could come up with a proposed selection process documented and be able to bring that to the 12/15 council meeting so we could see what the process is and approve it.
Well, and to just get continuous updates. I mean, it seemed like there's a bit of a lag to know when the job description was done, when it was going to be posted, or it said it was posted, but then it wasn't posted at the places that they said it was posted on, and then a little bit later it was posted there. So like just getting an accurate update on where things are going, because filling the city administrator position is a big deal. Getting an HR person after how long is a big deal. I feel like it's something that council should be one of the first, if not the first people to know about, not me hearing about it on Facebook. And I'm not even on Facebook. So someone told me about a post on Facebook about what's going on. So I mean, granted, I'm going out, so I only have 30 more days. But I would really love if I was kept up to date in some way, shape, or form about how many resumes we've gotten. If we're allowed to look at them at any given point, like it's all put on a drive. I heard once upon a time there was a council drive, and we had a folder that all the city administrator resumes went into, and council could at any point get on and look at the resumes. I mean, I remember when I was the council rep or the citizen rep for the last city administrator hiring, I mean, I came in, I never saw any resumes before, didn't have any idea who was interviewing. I came in, I listened to the people, didn't get to keep the resumes, anything, and I left. And that was all the involvement. I sat in on the interview, listened, and so it makes sense, even like what you were saying, Phil, like if there is going to be some sort of, panel put together for interviewing, it gets decided sooner rather than later, and those people are also made aware, so they can come into interviews prepared to ask questions, having done research on the people that are interviewing, things like that. Because otherwise, you can get, ridicule for a selection that you made, but you were given no time to make said kind of decision, or look into any kind of information with that. So that is a request of mine for the next 30 days. And I'm sure future council would also appreciate better updates.
I am going to be meeting with them tomorrow, and we
Update?
can work on
Thank
getting
you.
some proactive updates of the
Awesome.
council.
And previously, we did have in personnel, I selected Chelsea, Jim McDonald, another person from the city. Then we were also going to have a resident, was going to be part of that group after Work Springs works through the many, hopefully many, applications that they get. And then,
For like a panel to,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to clarify.
Sure.
Could you say that again about WorkSpring? It sounded to me like we're going to let WorkSpring, you were saying?
No.
You clarify that.
Yeah. Some time ago, when we began this process, being on Personnel Committee, I called Chelsea to see if she'd be on the committee, myself, Mayor McDonald, not Chelsea, and one other person in the administration, plus a citizen, that would be part of that screening group. That was already put out there to those particular people. No, I didn't share that with the council. I thought I had, but it was a few months ago that I shared that.
So is that an official group now that needs to get adjusted, based on some switcheroos?
There you go. Yeah.
Just a few switchers.
Yeah, we can do whatever we like. We make
Well-
rules and we can adjust them as needed. Obviously, Mayor McDonald's not here.
Right.
Obviously, we're going to have a largely new council.
I would say let's, one of the things that I would like to speak with them about is their selection process, including scoring rubrics, to discuss some of that process and have a more solid setup in place for that, both the review and selection of resumes. We don't want to interview 20 people.
No.
If 10 of them are unqualified, but I don't see an issue with council being able to review the resumes as they come in and their qualifications and recommendations. And that's something that we can work on tomorrow, and then as we go forward, maybe the next meeting, vote in a specific process.
Sure.
Who's receiving all of them? Is it the contract person? Or
It is the contract person right now.
receiving all the resumes? Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Leinbach, next.
Proposed rules for appointing council members to a vacated seat. This is something that the last time it occurred, it was clear that there's nothing documented the way I'm used to seeing things documented. There are a lot of circumstances that can happen. I think that should be anticipated so that it's not up to council president, every time it happens to come up with a process. It should be repeatable. Everybody in the city should know what the process is. That's what this was about. Again, I had proposed something, not that I expected that to be adopted as it was, but I think there's more discussion that has to take place. But there's two things. We are going to have to fill a vacant seat, before the end of the year. So we need to have rules for that, how that's going to happen. But even beyond that, I think, again, we should have something that's more like a standard operating procedure that could be in the council rules. It's fully documented. Instead of something really general like somebody gets to set the rules.
Well, I disagree with you largely here. Last time we had a vote for that Scott Noonan seat, I did some research and I spoke to council members that have been on council for a long time, over for a couple of decades. They explained me the process to me. I brought that to council, and council voted on that process.
At that time for that vacancy.
And it seemed to work pretty well because it was open, with discussion, and it wasn't council president deciding what to do. I brought it to full council after researching it, and then I brought it to council, and they adopted it.
Well, I mean, you both are right? I mean, Phil is saying that there was never anything documented for a very long time. It sounds like, Gabe, you documented it with the last seat filling.
Right, and that's how it had been done for
So, I mean.
when needed.
To me, the question is, you know, do we want to continue with what we did the last time or not? But I have a question. When is it vacant? As of today, when you got sworn in? 30 days from now?
I would like to get into that because I know that it has been very confusing for a lot of people because there will be 2 seats appointed, but one isn't actually available until January 1st. So that is part of my question. Anybody who gets appointed to Scott Noonan's former seat, which is what I had, if they get appointed within the next 30 days, if they get appointed before January 1st, then instead of filling out the unexpired term, they would have to run again in 2026. If it is appointed within December, that's what's happened. If they get appointed after, then they fill out the full unexpired term. So that is something to consider. I know we've talked a little bit about, not wanting to make too many decisions for new council. So even maybe before deciding any sort of procedures, maybe some of the, what I like to call shadow council, who I see sitting out in the audience, some of them, to speak with the current council to kind of discuss their thoughts on it as well.
Well, so my question with that would be, like, per the charter, right? We have 30 days. So if we don't do it within 30 days, what happens?
Mayor.
Does then the mayor have to appoint?
Then I would
Mayor
appoint.
appoints,
Okay,
right.
so by January 1st, then new council won't necessarily get a say, you will. Okay,
Correct.
that's why I wanted verification. Okay.
I have a question about that. Since you have assumed the mayor's seat, you can't actually, do you withdraw from the election and then I guess this is a question for the Board of Elections. If you aren't available to take that seat, which I don't think you would be now that you're mayor, does that mean that Andrew, who came in 5th, would be awarded that seat?
No, she would just withdraw from.
But if she
she's already been
withdraws
elected.
before the seat's ever given to her or awarded to her as.
Right.
No, she was elected to that seat, so she would have to resign from that seat at some point in time before.
Technically, there is a
the first of
recount
the
right
year.
now. The election is not even over.
Wasn't that today?
Yeah.
It is over.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going to say.
I didn't see the end.
There's never much. Yeah.
I guess,
I didn't see
the
it.
question I have is how can you ever be sworn into a seat, a council seat now that you're mayor, to be able to
Yeah, how can I-
vacate it?
How can I
Yeah.
resign from something that I've
Right.
never taken?
I'm following you,
That's
John.
Very, yes, it's
That-
Yes.
very.
that makes more sense.
I'm just trying, if it means we have to make one less appointment, that is great. I think, appointments are a thing that have to happen sometime, but if, we can avoid one more, that'd be fantastic.
I was under the impression that if something comes up and the person that was elected can't take the seat, it's the next person in line. Well, something came up, you can't take the seat. So
Yeah.
it's the next
So
person in
maybe
line,
that's
I
something we
thought.
need to get a hold of the Board of Elections.
Yeah, I wouldn't think
Because it's
that.
not in our charter.
I don't think that would be the case if the next person in line, I don't think that's how it would work. However, I guess we could rely on the Board of Elections.
I mean, I can reach out to them and see what their opinion is, but I don't know if they would have one because the election already took place. So if there was a withdrawal before the election, there's a different procedure, for your committee to appoint somebody to run in your spot. That didn't happen, so now I think we're just, again, council interpreting what the charter says, probably down to making a motion before,
Before the end of the year.
right?
Okay. We need to do a little research on it, see what we
Yeah.
get back, and come back with our next meeting. Maybe we'll have some better information.
But since we're talking about that, I guess we have to get some clarity first from her.
Right, because
Yeah, more
I would be
data.
of the opinion, if we're going to appoint someone, we just had an election, it would make sense to appoint the person who was next in the election. But if that person already going to be given a seat, then that's where it gets all haywire.
Just a little bit of musical chairs.
I would agree with that. Since we just had that's the kind of thing in filling a vacant seat that's a consideration. It's like a different scenario than, in the middle of a term. What do you do if you just had an election? Does that outweigh 4 people submitting, a resume, say, hey, I'd like to be considered? And I think it would. In that circumstance, you had people who put themselves out, campaigned, wanted to serve, and if they were the next one on the line and there's an opening, it's like, hey, within 60 days or something, we'd have to talk about that. But that's the kind of rules I was thinking of. Anticipates various scenarios that we have encountered.
Okay, we have the next one there.
Well, can I ask one more follow-up to that? Okay,
You sure can.
so Chelsea became mayor, so then you took over running the meeting because you're highest seniority. Not the same thing's going to happen to you, Chelsea. But but we have a council president. So if something happens to the mayor or they cannot do any of the duties, you have council president. So is it now just de facto, like it automatically goes to whoever is highest seniority for the rest of the year until
That's just for committee of the whole for that, but
So what happens in the rest of the year?
for the rest of the year, whoever, unless you elect right now a council president for the next 2 meetings, then for the next 2 meetings, whoever has either the highest seniority, and if the highest seniority or somebody has the same seniority, it's whoever's last name comes first alphabetically, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's what it
Chicken
says.
dinner.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
Thank God I'm a P.
so either that, or it would be that you would need to elect a council president for the next 2 meetings. And then after new council gets sworn in, they'll elect a new
Yeah,
council.
then yes.
But in the event that that had to be done, we could have a meeting and council president could be elected at that point.
Correct.
Yes.
We'll call a special meeting if something happened. Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Right.
Okay.
So when I wind up missing after being sworn in as mayor.
I'm so sorry. It's like we have to
Good
fill
luck,
out the
Chelsea.
people that are
Well,
going
was
to
it-
take
was
our
it- was
place
it-
if we die as
Margot,
soon as you get sworn in. I mean,
Isn't it a Puffenberger?
yeah, that's,
I just wondered. Careful, Chelsea.
Council President?
Yes.
I'm a P.
No,
I'm
I'm
safe.
definitely of the opinion we need to elect a council president. So I think the charter says that we're supposed to. Like,
does
at least
not.
last read on it is not this, whoever's been the longest serving. It's
That's
whenever there's a
just an amendment.
vacancy,
Yeah, that's an
it needs to be,
vacancy.
it can be filled by a vote of council. And we're likely going to have a special meeting, I think, to discuss and possibly vote on a replacement. And we need a council president to be able to preside over committee of the whole, or maybe even call a committee of the whole committee meeting
Alan?
in the interim to discuss
Alan,
filling the
research
vacancies.
this.
So,
It's just up to council. If you want to elect one, go ahead and elect one. So,
I'd like to make a motion that we select a new council president to serve until the end of the year.
I'll second that.
Tonight, Phil, we vote on council, elect the council president tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Well, somebody seconded it already.
We got a second. Any more discussion on that motion? Okay. Yes, call the roll.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Lineback.
Yes.
Puffenberger.
Yes.
I nominate Josh Harris.
I'll nominate John Fiskus.
I'm going to nominate Margot.
Oh, boy.
Attaboy.
Oh.
A Puffenberger.
A Puffenberger, yes.
All right. Any other nominations?
Alan? No?
motion to close nomination.
All right. Then we'll need a motion to close nominations.
I'll move that we close nominations.
I'll second.
Okay. Call the roll.
Barrow,
Fiskus.
We were going to close.
We're just,
no, closing them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought the same, Gabe.
Close the,
we got to close the
Yes.
nominations and then do the vote.
I move the close.
Fiskus,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Lineback.
Yes.
Puffenberger.
Yes.
All right. You ready to do some
Count the vote.
voting?
just call the roll and they can.
Yep. Call the roll on the votes.
Barrow,
Fiskus.
Fiskus,
Puffenberger.
Harris,
Harris.
Kurt,
Harris.
Steinbach,
Fiskus.
Puffenberger,
Fiskus.
Yeah. Yay. All
I
right.
thought it was an arm wrestle.
Okay.
Okay. I got my own.
Well, my last item of those items for discussion, it said confirm the charter's definition of responsibilities and supremacy in personnel actions. This is where 123.01 has some conflict, and I just wanted to
Yeah.
be clear that the charter, which supersedes, I think, any ordinances, says that the mayor shall have the power, subject to confirmation by a majority of the members of council, to appoint, promote, transfer, reduce, or remove any officer or employee of the municipality, except those required by this charter to be elected. Now, I think it's been explained to me, and it makes sense that the mayor can delegate certain authorities or responsibilities if he or she so desires. But the other section under council that says the power by motion to approve and confirm or to disapprove and reject all appointments made by the mayor to fill such offices and departments created under this charter or created by action of council. Council has not delegated its authority to waive approval of the mayor or the mayor's designee's decisions. So I just want to make that clear, that's why 123.01 needs to be addressed.
First of all, it's not an exclusive power. He does have that authority, but it's not exclusive. And council under the charter is also allowed to provide for positions and their duties, and they've done that in the ordinance for the city administrator. They've done it in the employee handbook as to who has power to discipline employees. So it's not an exclusive power that the mayor is the only one that can do it.
I'd probably disagree with the way that that's written and understood historically, but
Alan, is this something that, I believe it's Article 9, Section 3, I think, the clarifying language toward the end of the charter? Is this issue something that we can just clean it up under that authority?
I don't think it needs clarified, because then you would take away the power of council to assign duties to employees.
And it would have to be a charter amendment and have to go to the vote to do that. So we can't just clean it up if it's that.
so perhaps more reason why the Personnel Committee needs to look really closely at those administrator duties. That's all I had to say on that one.
Oh, it's me now, isn't it? Is there anything else regarding the agenda tonight?
Give me 1 second to think.
Quit, John.
I think I'm all right.
Okay, well, that concludes committee of the whole.
Nice job, John.
You killed it.
Okay. Next, we have everyone's favorite, citizen comments. I do want to remind everyone that there is a 3-minute limit per person, and if more than 2 people are addressing the same subject, it is a 2-minute limit with a total of 15-minute limit for one single subject. All righty? Everybody agree? First person up, Brian McMahon? McMahon? They got all messed up.
Hats.
My name is Brian McMahon. I own a company called Danbury National, which is a real estate commercial industrial brokerage company. We're headquartered at 624 West South Boundary in Perrysburg. I wanted to speak a little bit tonight to share some things with you. The city of Perrysburg is obviously on the cusp of some pretty significant changes, evident by what happened so far here this evening with your new mayor. We represent 2 of the largest property owners in the city of Maumee currently. One, Zach Isaac, who owns all the land at around Fallen Timbers, and the other is Steve Taylor. And Steve Taylor, if you're not aware of it, recently purchased all the vacant land that was previously owned by ProMedica, and he's in the process of purchasing all the vacant land that is owned by Mercy Hospital, all of which is for the most part located in Arrowhead Park. You're probably aware of the fact that there is a company out of Columbus that has the Fallen Timbers Shopping Center under contract. We actually sold that site to General Growth and Pennies many years ago. And the intention at that time, for some of you who were not here at that time, was to develop a 2.5 million square foot, two-story enclosed mall with 5 anchor tenants. Unfortunately, it ran into some delays in being processed through the city, and as a result of that, that project never came about. With regards to Arrowhead Park, I think you'll hear some things announced here in the near future about the plans for both Fallen Timbers and for Arrowhead Park. I didn't want to talk about the data center tonight because I believe the data center is on your agenda. At the appropriate time, I'd like to come and share with you what I've learned regarding data centers because our company was involved in assembling and selling the land in Middleton Township for the data center that's currently under construction. There are some things that will be made public about that project in the next several days, if not next several weeks, but probably the next several days, that will help you all become better informed as to what's happening with that data center and how potentially some of those things could benefit the data center that's being discussed in the city of Maumee. But until such time as those companies are willing to share that information, I've been told not to get ahead of them, not to make any public statements, which I will not. But I think if you can schedule this visit to New Albany, those people who have the opportunity to make that tour will learn a lot more about data centers. I want to watch my time, Mayor, so if I get over my 3 minutes, you can give me the hook. Okay.
Chief will let you know.
Chief will let you know.
So, yeah, all right, thank you.
Okay. Risa? You can, I meant to say this earlier, if you can state your name and where you live.
Yes, I'm Risa Sindel. I live on offshore here in Maumee. For brevity's sake, I just want to say that I have spent several hundred hours of research in the past couple of months on the topic of data centers, looking at both risks and rewards. And I want to stress that I come from a career in higher education and dominantly in the medical field. So I am particularly sensitive to real research, not just social media, actually not social media, but true research, current, credible institutions, not looking at talking to my primary care physician and asking them, might the AMA website have information on the detrimental health effects of data centers on our communities, nor talking to, simply as Mr. McMahon stated, the PR spin from the data center big tech corporations themselves, but actually current credible research that is indicating very clearly and overwhelmingly that there are far more risks involved than perceived rewards. And I look at those far beyond the perceived financial rewards or economic benefit to our community, but what kind of legacy might be left behind should our community pursue a data center build here. So I ask of all of you, someone who's moved here 3 years ago, and my husband and I chose to live in Maumee, not Perrysburg, but Maumee, because of the type of community we live in. It's a very attractive community. It's a peaceful community. It's a community that's shown some consideration for its legacy, and that's why we chose to move here. So I just ask all of you, especially when you go to New Albany on that, I'm sorry, but PR spin of a trip, to tell everybody, rah, 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 we're going to bring all these dollars into the community. Look very closely at what is actually happening to the communities. Let's keep it simply, just across the U.S. And let's look at not just the moratoriums, but let's look at the actual due diligence that certain responsible communities, city councils, townships, are putting into this topic. So I ask that of you because it will be the legacy that you will leave behind. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Richard Maxfield, please state your name and where you're from.
Oh, my word, what have I got myself into here? Just a simple little 81-year-old guy. As you look at the data center and you look at the viability of Maumee, Maumee has developed 200 years to get to where it's at now. It's a very historical area. If you look down on the area, there's a huge amount of residential area that will be affected negatively by the data center, without a doubt. It already has affected me. I'm a wreck because of it. I live on the bike path in Waterside, right in my backyard. Huh? So if you look at down on that, you got the Maumee River, you got Sidecut Park, you got Maumee's Toll Path, you got Battlefield Parks, you got Oak Openings. You've got a lot of historical stuff that goes on right around this. And this sits right in the middle of all this residential area that people moved into it to have a community. I don't know. I look at my community, I think if in 600 houses in Waterside, if each house would lose $50,000 to $100,000, which I easily could lose $50,000 to $100,000 on my house immediately. Could even go to zero if nobody wants to buy it. That equates to, in that one neighborhood, $30 to $60 million in one neighborhood of equity lost. That's a lot amount of money. Now, will the tax equity go down, pay less taxes? Where's my abatement? So they would immediately lose tax dollars for a long-term gain with short-term loss to a lot of people living around there. I guess that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Peggy?
Peggy Earhart, 713 Sackett. Some years ago, I held a real estate license. I was showing a house that was on the far outskirts of Oregon, Ohio. As we approached the house from some distance away, we experienced a terrible smell. When we arrived at the development, we discovered the reason for the smell. There was a power plant operating on the corner. The smell was obtrusive, unrelenting, and offensive. When Mr. Isaac spoke about a natural gas power plant that would supply the huge amount of electricity necessary to power the data center, I was reminded of that past experience. Even though natural gas is odorless, a power plant is a power plant. I'm no expert, but research revealed that a substance is added to the gas named mercaptan. This substance is necessary to determine the location of leaks. Mercaptan has the odor of rotten eggs and is distinct in the air from a distance of up to 6 miles away. A new $60 million luxury apartment complex is currently being built in Arrowhead, which is far less than the proposed location of the data center and the power plant. Who would want to rent a luxury apartment with a smell of rotten eggs constantly in the air? Would the businesses be willing to stay under those circumstances? Would you? Would anyone? So in addition to light pollution, noise pollution, air pollution of the data center, can odor pollution be added to the disagreeable aspects of living so close to a data center and a power plant? Thank you.
Diane?
I'm short. Diane Stroshine, 7307 Longwater Drive. I watched that planning meeting on TV, and I thought it was really interesting that the people that spoke the most were the ones that were going to make the millions of dollars selling the property by the company that's selling it and the people that are making the money. So I wouldn't really look at them as being experts. I would think that experts are developed by looking at the true research, not going on a dog and pony show down in New Albany, because I've done dog and pony shows before when I was trying to sell software. We always put our best person in, and they always knew exactly what to say. What I think would be fun is to go down to New Albany without them knowing you're coming, so they can shut off some of their generators, that you can see at night how bright it's going to be. Why give them the advantage of growing their company millions more? Go down there, talk to the residents, look at how many for sale signs there are around that place. I mean, that's what you have to do. I mean, look at how much Maumee has come. Like with the walleye run, you get millions. You have all those big buildings. When the rain comes down, it's going to take those chemicals, it's going to set them on the ground. The rain is going to wash them into the storm sewers, which is going to put them into the Maumee River. There are so many things. The light is going to disturb all the animals, plus there's a hum that comes from those. Sort of like having tinnitus in your ears that you have to live with 24/7, 365 days out of the year. It's going to affect the people. I mean, look at what's around there. I mean, Monclova Township and Maumee are just sort of all intertwined. It's hard to tell where one starts and one stops. You have all sorts of retirement communities, and you have beautiful animals and all sorts of nice things. The noise is going to bother them. The light is going to mess with their circadian rhythms because it's going to be broad daylight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Zach?
Evening, I'm Zach Isaac. We are the sellers of the 240 acres inside Arrowhead Park. And we were very proud when General Growth put $110 million in that lifestyle center. Unfortunately, they sold it to the wrong people, and we're embarrassed that that happened. But let's get back to the data center. I think there's a lot of speculation and a lot of assumptions that are being made. And I guess our request and recommendation would be to wait for the new council to come in, table it tonight, so the new council has their two further hearings as opposed to one, if this thing goes through tonight or next week. I guess that'd be number two. I think it's not a PR tour we're taking people on. The people in New Albany, they have no dog in the hunt. They're the ones that are going to show our current council, hopefully planning commission, hopefully council-elect, that comes down to understand how it helps the community. New Albany is probably one of the highest net worth communities in the state of Ohio. And you'll see around there a lot of very high-end housing that is not at all impacted by the numerous data centers that they have in New Albany and that surrounding area. So I guess I would ask that we take it slow. The contract we have has months and months of due diligence. There's no rush changing this from an approved use to a conditional use. The approved use right now would also be subject to Arrowhead restrictions, which is height, setback, signage, landscaping, materials. And so as an approved use, you're not all bad. A conditional use, you may add a few more things, and we're not going to fight that. We're just saying, let's get ourselves educated. I want the council to see, feel, touch, and understand real data centers. You know, the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, in construction jobs. Those will be there for several years. The schools are huge beneficiaries. I'm certain many people in this room are concerned about their electric bills going up, in addition to the sewer bills and water bills. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gaetano? Mr. Ruggiero? Gaetano? That's the last name.
My name is Gaetano Ruggiero. Good evening, everybody. It's hard to believe that someone with the city of Maumee would put my glasses on. Hey, can we start over?
Could you also pull the microphone down, sir, closer to your mouth so we can hear you?
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Gaetano Ruggiero. It is hard to believe that someone with the city of Maumee would have written the sewer, later and clean water connection agreement, and the law department allowing it to be distributed. This agreement is confusing. It is misinformation. It has misinformation, such as the purpose of the agreement is to eliminate tap water or other clean water to enter the Maumee, and omissions such as the need of a special bid form from the plumbing contractor, a bid form that explains why the contractor do not want to perform work in Maumee. All you need for a bid request is to give a contract a proper scope for the work, and the inspection department follow through and do its job. There is no guarantee in the agreement for the property owner for the reimbursement, even if they follow the agreement. The agreement states, that necessary permission. The agreement states that the necessary condition will be paid from grants and loan upon request, and if the funds are available for such. If the city of Maumee has received grants and loan for the sewer, lateral, and clean water connection, and the project is necessary, why doesn't the city absorb the cost, which they could eventually do, eliminate the middleman? The city could bid the job out, the work by a single contractor, and would be consistent and could be cost-saving. The agreement states that the provision of the grants and loan from the city of Maumee funds and any other use of city resources is subject to approval by state auditor and other government agency. Future city council could eliminate the grants or funding program. If the state auditors make a determination that the use of the Maumee funds, grant, or provision of the city recourse was improperly for the set herein, the auditor or other state agency may require reimbursement of funds from city official and owner. City of Maumee cannot guarantee what a state auditor or other agency will or may determine as to the use of the expenditure. If any of these situations occurs and the grants funding programs are eliminated, who is responsible for the cost of the project, the owner or the city of Maumee? If there are omission, misinformation, or additional to this agreement, the agreement should be corrected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine?
Hello, Catherine Stark, 126 East William. Congratulations, Madam Mayor. I remember sitting next to you at the first roundtable for the sewers in August of 2024. We both sat kind of quietly absorbing the conversation dominated by a few citizens and our former administrator. You then went on a mission along with a handful of other people from CMAC and went to work for the citizens. The commitment and due diligence you demonstrated was amazing, not taking anything away from the other leads at all, but I remember receiving the binder of information you assembled to present to council and thinking, holy crap, how did she do all this? You were humble, not looking for praise, but asking for feedback. You continued to show humility and even went on to specifically say to those in power, I want to help, I come in peace. Tonight, I took off my Ohio State t-shirt and I put on the sweater that my niece gave me, because I'm the peacemaker in my family, as a tribute to your journey to the seat you now sit in. Peace is not easy to come by in this world we live in. The last few years has been very trying in the city, and it's been anything but peaceful, causing many of us, including myself, to sometimes spew words that could seem hatred, and they certainly weren't meant to be. So I wanted to let you know that I'm excited to have you at the helm, understanding that you can only do so much. I believe that you will foster an environment that listens to the concerns of the citizens and discourages politics for gain for anyone but the citizens. Thank you for putting yourself out there for public scrutiny and for being willing to step into a challenging role. Please stay humble, stay honest, and have some fun while leading the city into a new and exciting era. Lastly, I also watched the Municipal Planning Commission video a couple days ago before you had been appointed mayor, and I want to thank both Phil, Margot, Chelsea, I think there was somebody else involved in the city who commented at that meeting. It was very enlightening, and I also want to thank Adam and Jamie, who were kind of adamant in their positions to slow this down. It really helped me understand. Margot, you have been very instrumental in fighting for a lot of things. In case I don't make the next couple meetings, I want to thank you. Phil, John, I mean, you've all done, it's been a hard job. I've said that many times when I spoke up here, and I want to applaud all your efforts, and I hope that everyone can live peacefully in the city once that their role is over.
Thank you. And last, and certainly not least, Isaiah.
Isaiah Gonzalez, 677 Northfield. Going forward to the end of the year for council to consider is that the appointment you will be making before the end of the year, if you don't hand it off to Chelsea, would be better off if you guys were to come up with a person and have Chelsea appointed after the new year. That way they don't have to run, and it's a 2-year term because when Chelsea turns down the seat in January, that person that gets appointed will have to rerun in November. So it'll only be a 1-year term. So the automatic person that is, we said if it's Hughie that was in 5th, he would be, I'd rather see him be appointed sooner. Otherwise, he'll have to run again if we appoint him after the new year. Just something to consider in the discussion when you guys decide who to appoint. That way it will alleviate some of the strain that it's already taken on. Running for election is stressful on everybody, your family. Having to redo that again for Andrew, if that were to go afterwards, I wouldn't, if he asked me not to, I would tell him, fine, we'll find somebody else. And also, I watched the planning commission meeting. I was at the meeting at the place in Monclova, the Bunker Bar. Watching the meeting, it's very intriguing to me to see the people that are speaking for the data centers own the land. I feel that Maumee this is my own opinion, Maumee really isn't a place for a data center because we have too much wildlife and residents. There just would be too much, it'd be a trickle down, no gain. We would get no financial gain for what it would do to our environment and to our community. That's my personal opinion. I don't speak for anyone else, and I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes citizen comments. Now we need adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion? Adoption of the agenda as revised.
I'll move to adopt the agenda, Mayor.
As revised?
As revised.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Call the roll.
Barrow,
Yes?
Fiskus,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Lineback,
Yes.
Puffenberger.
Yes.
Next, we have the approval of the meeting minutes, of the regular minutes of the November 17th, 2025 meeting. I get a motion to approve those minutes.
Thank you, Mayor Ziss. I will make a motion to approve regular minutes of the November 17th, 2025 meeting.
I will second that.
Call the roll.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Lineback,
Yes.
Puffenberger.
Yes.
Next, we have petitions and communication. What we have on there is the Parks and Recreation Committee meeting minutes from 11/20/25. Can I get a motion for that?
I will move to accept petitions and communications and place them on file.
I'll second that.
Let's call the roll.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Lineback.
Yes.
Puffenberger.
Yes.
It is after. We make the motion.
Make the motion first.
Make the motion. Then I will need did we amend the consent calendar?
No.
I don't think so.
No. Can I get a motion to approve all consent calendar items?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay.
Now, just ask if there's any discussion.
Any more discussion on the consent calendar?
Not beyond the ones that I covered.
Any- Anyone over here?
Why are you looking at me?
All right, let's call.
The mayor just usually goes through each other.
Okay, this is when we go through each item. Okay, A is a recommendation from the Environmental and Tree Advisory Commission. We talked about that pretty extensively. Do you have any?
Is that the first reading?
Yep, it's just the first reading. It'll come back 2 more times. So I'm not going to read through that whole thing. B is, it's a recommendation from me, apparently. Recommendation from the mayor. Authorize the following road closures for the Toledo Mini Marathon on Saturday, March 21st, 2026. That'll be Conant Street from Broadway to the Anthony Wayne Trail from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. That's the starting line. The western corridor, including West William to Duane, returning to West Wayne, crossing Conant onto East Wayne to River Road, continuing through Grand Valley Drive and into Toledo. Item C is a recommendation from the Municipal Planning Commission. This is the first reading of ordinance 036-2025. This is an ordinance amending section 1125.10 of the Maumee Codified Ordinances and ordinance 021-2025. D is also a recommendation from the Municipal Planning Commission. That's the first reading of ordinance 037-2025, an ordinance amending section 1125.11 of the Maumee Codified Ordinances and ordinance 036-2023. Those are the moving the data center to the conditional use for those of you in the audience. Next is a recommendation from the law director. It's authorized entering into an agreement for the 2026 request for proposal for the annual Maumee Perrysburg fireworks display. F is a recommendation from the Municipal Planning Commission. It's the first reading of 041-2025, an ordinance adopting a master plan for the city of Maumee. This is a first reading that will be available on the website. Unfortunately, we have a small issue with our website right now, but they are working on it. It should be back up and running here shortly. G is a recommendation from the Public Service Director to accept a bid from Hillebrand & Sons Construction, LLC, and to authorize mayor or Public Service Director to enter into a contract in the amount of $790,915.80 for the Graham Ditch Enclosure Project.
And then just on the fireworks, do you know the date of that you're proposing? Did you see that?
Is there a different date for the fireworks?
No, the fireworks would be planned for Friday, July 3rd at dusk, with a backup date of, depending on the contractor, potential backup date of Saturday, July 4th or Sunday, July 5th for weather-related issues. And then the total cost would be not to exceed $48,750, which is shared with Perrysburg.
Okay. Call the roll.
Barrow?
Yes.
Fiskus?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
Lineback?
Yes.
Pfaffenberger?
Yes.
Okay. Next is our only new business, a recommendation from the Finance Committee to approve ordinance 040-2025, an ordinance adopting an updated Maumee sanitary sewer overflow remediation policy and program.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Ziss. I will first move to suspend the rules and declare an emergency.
Yeah, I would second that motion.
Call the roll.
Barrow?
Yes.
Fiskus?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
Lineback?
Yes.
Pfaffenberger?
Yes.
And then I will move to approve ordinance 040-2025, an ordinance adopting an updated Maumee sanitary sewer overflow remediation policy and program.
Can we have a little discussion on that before the vote?
Let's get a second first.
Need a second first?
Oh, I second that motion.
Discussion. So we're declaring an emergency, so that can take effect immediately. We know that's been a hot button issue. I believe the changes that were just recently made by the Finance Committee to make it much easier for people to have the work financed, not to have to, if they don't have the funds to pay for the repairs that might be required inside the house, that the city has, removed restrictions and said, okay, we'll deal directly with the contractor for the payment piece. That's accurate, Alan?
And it would be agreement between the owner,
Yep.
contractor, and the city to
But
deal with the
and when
payment.
it comes to the financing piece of it, the city's going to handle the payment. So this is a really, I think, an important step. It may not be everything, but I'm a firm believer not to sacrifice better on the altar of the best. So this, as an emergency, to get it in place immediately, I think is going to get a lot more people on board. May not get everybody on board. I think there may still be a little bit more we need to do, but given how fresh this approval is for this, something that citizens have been calling for a long time, is possibly giving a 30-day extension, because there's a lot of people in this room who are paying a lot of close attention. There's a lot of people in the community who still don't really know what's going on. This is good news that has got to get out to them. And if they know they have hey, another 30 days, it's not the end of the year that I have to sign. I can do it maybe at the end of January. That's something I hope we can do. That's not what we're voting on tonight. But that's why I think this is a good idea to pass as an emergency, to get on the books as soon as possible.
And to add on to that, the other reason that I am fine with it being an emergency is for those people who are coming up on their inspection 1 year for work dates. This also gives them that extension going into, what's the extension date to, April? April 8th.
Right.
Whereas before they would have been out of compliance possibly anytime the next couple months.
And these were all changes that were, based on feedback we got from when we presented the big overall presentation, a couple meetings ago with Matt. And so took your feedback, went to finance with it, and put it here.
Anything else?
Call the roll.
All right, call a roll.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Lineback,
Yes.
Puffenberger.
Yes.
Okay. Well, next are mayor and council member comments. I'll start off. Hi, everybody. It's great to be up here. It's been an interesting road to get here. It's not necessarily the way that I would have wanted to get here, but I'm happy nonetheless. I'll make the same promises that I have been the whole time, is that I'll continue to work hard. I'll continue to question everything. I'll continue to research everything, and I will do the best that I can for everybody who is here. I'm pretty excited. I already got them to do it. We went and did a staff meeting this morning at 8:30 a.m. I don't think anybody was happy with that. It was the first Monday after the holiday, but it was great, and it was great to meet everyone. I'm planning to really take the time to be involved and move forward for the best thing possible. The other thing I did want to mention was that Shop with the Hero is coming up the 10th, and that's a very cool program. I've been a part of it since its inception. I go and help take the pictures of Santa with the kids. For those of you who don't know, they have kids come out and go Christmas shopping with first responders, not just in Maumee, but all over. It's a very cool program. Meyer helps sponsor it. They help them wrap the gifts. They pick out gifts for their family. It's a pretty cool thing, and I'm pretty excited about it. All right, who's next? Mr. Barrow?
Well, that was you, so it would be Barrow. Hi.
I was going to say, are we going alphabetically, or are we going?
No, as they're on the agenda. I want to congratulate Mayor Ziss. This morning, I was up at City Hall early this morning, speaking to our law director, and it came out, and there was a room full of people. It was very impressive to see that. It was really nice. Congratulations on that, reaching out. I've talked to some staff, and they said you're making the rounds and going forward. So congratulations. And the City of Maumee, we have a new mayor. We have practically new council coming up. Support them, give them a little leeway. There'll be little bumps in the roads, but I can assure you, everybody up here has always been here for the betterment of the city, and that will continue to be so. Thank you.
Biscuits?
Thank you. Congrats to the new mayor as well.
Congrats to you.
Thanks.
New president.
30 days.
I would bring up again, Wreaths Across America is in a couple Saturdays on the 13th, 11 a.m. at the Rotary Pavilion at Sidecut, and then we'll spread out to the 2 cemeteries. Also, shout out to the service crew. The first snowfall is always, people freak out and think nothing's going to get plowed. The snow helped us because they were wrong as usual. We didn't get 4 feet of snow. But they did a great job. I shoveled at 8 because they said we were going to get a bunch. Thought I'd have to go out in the morning, and went out in the morning, and it was all off the streets and melted pretty much everywhere else. And then Holiday Hustle and the parade was great, despite we were talking about earlier, it's one of the chilliest ones I can remember. The service crew did great. Police and fire did great. Unfortunately, the fire, they were on a call, so they didn't get to be in the parade. We missed them, but I think it all went off without a hitch. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Councilman Harris?
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations to you and President Fiskus. I also was here this morning, early in the morning, and talked to Councilman-elect Dave Peppelmeyer, right? And just came up here to ask a couple questions, and next thing you know, I see a big meeting, and Chelsea's the only one looking wide awake and ready to go for that big old meeting. She looked right in the right place, so I think you're going to do a good job.
Thank you.
The Buckeyes won this week, so that makes things a little bit better for me. The only reason I mentioned that is last week, a couple of former Buckeyes made their way into town over at the Honda dealership, and I stopped by. Ted Ginn Jr. Was there, and I got to introduce myself as the councilman of the city. And weird thing is, he said, "Take down my number." He said, "I got a elite youth program I really want to start promoting. So, John, if you can kind of hook me up in the right direction to get in touch with the school board and athletic directors, I've got a number to pass along to them."
I know someone over there.
Okay.
You just got some connections.
Yep. Other than that, one more meeting after this, and then we can...
Maybe just one.
Maybe. Please, just one more. And then we can start urging our new council to start getting prepared. So, thank you.
Councilman Kurt?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you. You've come a long way in a very short period of time. What, about 4 months or 5 months or so?
I don't even think it's 3.
Seems longer at that, huh?
Yes.
The parade was great. Mary and I were able to watch it from our backyard, so we didn't have to go very far. But John, you're right, it was very cold. And then I have something else that I was checking just a moment ago. This is not official, but apparently the recount has been completed, and the Board of Elections let stand the field, the call on the field. In other words, Dave Peppelmeyer will be the next member of council. So, and as I said, it's not official yet. My artificial intelligence platform reported it to me, and sometimes it's not as intelligent as I would like it to be. But so, Dave, I think you're here. I hope, for your sake, I hope it's the way it turned out. So, congratulations, provisionally congratulations, and now. Maybe I can ask you for a ride to these meetings sometimes, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Leinbach?
No provisional congratulations to you. It's official, right? So, well deserved. The only comment I wanted to speak to is a lot of the energy in the room tonight, not exclusively, was about data centers. And like with with a lot of issues that can be kind of contentious, there's a small group on one end that feels very strongly about it, and that's fine. And oftentimes there's another small group on the other end could feel really strongly about it. But there's a big chunk in the middle of citizenry who will be affected ultimately by whatever decision is made. A lot of these people really do not understand. One of the things that I've advocated for throughout my time here is that we have a lot of educated people in our communities. So not just Maumee, Monclova Township as well. And it's like networking a bunch of computers. We don't need 7 people, only 7 people doing research. We can get hundreds. out there. And so we need time to digest that information. We need time to get that information to the really broad swath of people that really do not understand it. And again, it's not, I'm not in the camp that says data centers are bad, can never have them, and I'm not in the camp that says data centers are wonderful. You know, we absolutely have to have them. I think there are a lot of very legitimate questions that need to be answered, and the ordinance that we passed as a first reading tonight is a first step that we knew we could do. We could make it a conditional use. It adds a few more hurdles. And I think that's good, given this issue and the energy that's going about in town. There's just a lot of really great points that people bring up. But the door, is still kind of open. I heard someone say tonight that, just let's leave it for the next council. And it's like, well, I don't know. I could be open to a moratorium to make sure we have enough time. I don't know if that's possible. It depends on some. Well, yeah, it depends on legally how things sit. That may not be possible. But boy, oh boy, we have got to get that huge chunk of people in the middle. We have to access the knowledge that people have out there and be able to share it with them. Share it with us and the other council too, depending on the timing. But we have to figure out a way to make that happen. This is just, it's really big. It's a really big issue. Maumee has a lot of our unique characteristics. We just have to understand. And, I married into a family of salespeople. And so I'm not a salesperson. I pay retail. All right. But in sales, it's never yes or no. It usually seems to be yes if we can do things. We have to consider remediations. I mean, the harms that have been identified, to the extent that they exist, they're real, and everybody says, okay, yeah, I guess that is true. If things can be remediated and you can still get it, it's like, oh, if that's possible, then maybe a deal's possible, right? So those are some of the things I think we just have to consider. We still have to have an open mind. We do have to be educated, but I don't know if we want to keep the door open while we're still trying to figure that out. And again, there may be some legal issues at stake to prevent us from that. I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay. Councilman Puffenberger.
Thank you. Congratulations, first female mayor in Maumee. That's very exciting.
Thank you.
So congrats. I'm very excited to see what you do. And so holiday parade, thank you for the clarification of why fire was not at the end of the parade. I was very disappointed. I'm like, what happened? So it was a great parade, though. I think it was perfect length. It was cold, but that's why it was the perfect length. Not too long, staying out in the cold too long. I did want to clarify something. Someone who stood up and spoke mentioned arrowhead restrictions for fallen timbers, and that didn't connect for me, so I don't know if we can. There's no arrowhead restrictions for the fallen timbers area when it comes to the data centers, correct?
There's architectural standards.
Yeah, but nothing from arrowhead, since they're two separate spaces.
No, they also have a board yet, right?
Okay, so it's a different board. I just want to clarify that. So it's not arrowhead standards. It'll be a different set of standards for out at Fallen Timbers. And then with the snowfall, I kind of got reminded about the volunteer shoveling that happened last year, and we had a resident email us about the snow. So that is something that is not organized right now, so we need to kind of figure out a point person to be able to kind of gather the list of people that need help. Last year, I remember kind of being elderly or people with like kind of physical issues that can't have issues with clearing their snow. So we had compiled a list of people that needed help and compiled a list of people interested in helping and kind of connected the two. So that's something that hasn't quite been worked out yet, but I wanted to let people know it's something that's being talked about, I guess. And the data center thing is not only firing up in Maumee. But I know a lot of the news outlets that I follow and kind of sign up to. I mean, there's a lot of articles out there right now. So I'm constantly reading new articles on data centers that are being sent to me through the news feeds that I subscribe to. So I've been trying to include those in my newsletter on Monday, at least try to get them out to some people. But there are a lot of articles out there, so, and they're more and more keep coming out. So I would definitely encourage you guys to read those. Thanks.
All right.
Can I piggyback on you mentioned the snow shoveling to me, and I totally
Yes.
blanked on it. I'm willing to do it. We got to just figure out how we're going to do the transition here. So if our friends at the news could tell your weathercasters to cancel snow
Until we get it figured out.
Till we get it figured out, that would be
Moratorium
much
on snow.
appreciated.
I will motion, I'll make a motion for
But we
snow
will
moratorium.
still do the volunteer snow. So if you're interested, for the time being, I guess, email me, and I'll get a list of names and numbers of volunteers and people who may need the service.
Well, John, you know it's always less than half of what they predict. Oops.
That's it. I'm done now.
Take a motion to adjourn.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
I'll make a motion to adjourn to our next scheduled meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, let's call that roll.
Barrow.
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Kurt.
Yes.
Linebach.
Yes.
Poffenberger.
Yes.
Oh, meeting adjourned.